just getting it going. We got 5 eyeballs, we got 30 eyeballs, we got 99 eyeballs. Okay, hi. Just hi first. Hello. Hi. Hello. Okay, so just like going to give you just a couple human points here is that this is probably going to be 20 minutes, a 20-minute call, and a 20-minute program, whatever. Okay, 4 p.m. That's when I said it would be, and here we are. So, hi everybody. You see this right side up, right? You see this, you see, like, tell me right now, you see the generator live, the way it is spelled, right? Come on, tell me. You see it, right? Because I really can't believe, oh my God, after all that, it's backwards. Oh my God, Glennis, damn, what was that? So see, that's the difference between the phone camera and the Instagram camera. Fuck. Damn it. Shit. You see this backwards. That sucks. God damn it. That is so funny, Glennis. You're texting me, my co-founder, Glennis. Damn it, Glennis, didn't we test? I mean, we tested the framing, but I didn't write it out. That is so stupid. You know, God, fuck. Like, you know, it's like Jessica's game, at least. I want to write correctly. Ugh, and then it looks like a, yikes. This is so bad, dude. This is so bad. Yellin, okay. Yellin, LL. How do you write a Y? Oh, I'm tripping, man. Yeah. Okay, Jessica. Oh, God. Oh, my God. You're cracking up. Glennis, this is fine, right? Because I'm like, I can't put Jessica's name. Especially, I'm like, we're getting the news from this person. Jessica. See, Jessica. Fuck. S, 2 S's. Jessica. J-E. So that's that. And then we know what backwards E's look like. I'm going to do this, L-O-L, and ha-ha. Okay. And that's it. And you know what? One last thing is, just going to get my little... Oh, this is so stupid. Okay, you know what? This is like the first. We're like making it work. And here's the first. Oh, this is so dumb. Tomorrow we'll have more orange. This is the... Oi! Enough. This is a waste. Okay, fine. Not a waste, but... Ha ha ha, he he he. Oh, and I see it now. Okay, that's not bad. All right. Hey, this is iconic. LOL, Glennis. Okay, we can put it in the comments and pin it. And we'll post about this later on Generator, and then I'll... Hey, and then, okay, let me know for next time. Okay, hi, LOL, so embarrassing. Hi everybody. I have been hanging out on Instagram Live a little bit just to talk about reality and the mental of this all. It is mental, and you know, just Instagram continues to be such a useful tool for connecting and for and I can mute that, for connecting and being in touch with reality. Sometimes it's the lack of reality, but here it's been really nice to connect with people over Instagram Live. So I am so concerned, confused, in the dark, willfully in the dark because I'm too scared about the upcoming elections and politics right now and what anything means. Just gonna, oops. Generator was founded by me and Glennis Mahar in 2016 after the elections to gather and talk about politics without feeling dumb. Generator is comprised of two components. Generator Live, where I sit and talk to experts, activists, and politicians, experts to investigate at the Homer Simpson level how the system works. And while we're all like, the system's fucked, it's like, well, what is good about it? What has been working? And what's worth saving? What's worth trashing? The one other component of Generator is Jenny Socials, which are voter empowerment dance parties. So we had 3 Jenny Socials on my stand-up tour, which was called Horny for the Polls. And at the stand-up shows, we were having collaborating with Headcount to register people to vote. And then in each city that I was doing stand-up in, we were doing these voter empowerment dance parties, and they were so sick, dude. I think we'll do like some recap posts of them, but we started in DC, then we did Durham, North Carolina, and Atlanta. And, you know, it's like to quiz someone and be like, how much do you know about politics? What's going on in the elections? You don't even have your opinion doesn't even count because you don't know X, Y, and Z, whatever. It's like just to see who's showing up and to celebrate the right to vote, which is the founding dope thing about this country, the right to vote. To see people show up and celebrate that through dance was really awesome. So the tour got cut short, of course, because COVID happened. But those 3 cities that we did in was such a freaking blast. So we here at Generator want to define what minimal civic engagement looks like. Watch me write that backwards on a fucking whiteboard tomorrow. But that's our thing. We want to define minimal civic engagement and raise the bar off the ground, an inch off the ground, and raise that bar for everybody. For us, we're like to be minimally civically engaged, to just be a citizen, is to vote and fill out the census at baseline and canvass once every 4 years. Not bad. So over the next few weeks, months, who knows what is going on Instagram Live, we're going to suss out what minimal civic engagement and voting means in the time of COVID-19. And we believe that the first step of being civically engaged is being informed. So we are minimally informed. I'm ashamed to admit that I've been too scared to watch the news. This is my 3rd week quarantined in New York. And I'm struggling to watch the news. I've been getting my news through Twitter and texting. You know, it's like, if I don't hear about a thing, it's like my mom sends me, oh my God, an article. And I'm like, oh shit, that's happening. That's how I'm getting my news right now, because I'm just getting too anxious and depressed to fully listen. Although I know I should be following more, especially being in the butthole of COVID here in New York City. I haven't even been indulging in those Cuomo dailies, which I hear people are just loving. People are just getting horny for those Cuomo dailies. I saw a spat on Instagram between Cuomo and his brother. I was like, okay, I see what the brothers fight now. So I've been watching The Sopranos, so I've been loving Italian Americans. Anyway, so it's been just so upsetting, to listen to the news. It's like in New York, often that means more fun news. I'm in New York, here it is. The news I'm listening to is right on my street. But now that it's COVID, it's it's a trip. It's hard here. And it's like I'm in the most privileged like centile of this. For someone who's stuck in New York City, I'm healthy and relatively safe. My mind is blowing at the grocery store workers. And the pharmacy workers in Brooklyn, in my neighborhood. These people are keeping me alive, keeping me fed and alive, me and my family and my friends. And I want to say shout out to them, but it just doesn't even feel like it's doing them justice. But shout out to them. But man, I say thank you, Key Food. I say thank you, Whole Food. Thank you, pharmaceutical workers. Thank you, janitors. Thank you, custodians. Thank you, food service people. Damn. Shit is dangerous. Sucks. This is really, really hard. So while it's been so upsetting to stay informed, there's one person who, and I'm usually listening to Democracy Now! I like it like straight, you know what I mean? Like my news, some people like the Daily, and they like their little whispered stories, their gentle, sensitive, a little music in there, so that they can get the news with a little feeling. And I'm just like, no, I want Amy Goodman to tell me in my AirPods, like what's going on. I want it coarse. I want it hard. I haven't been able to do that in the past few weeks. But the one person that I have been able to tune into is Jessica Yellin. Before I just go into like her credits, if you don't know Jessica Yellin, if you don't know Jessica Yellin, this is a person worth following. She is so good at her job and this self-starter and like working for the people. Okay, we'll go into this. So she's a former chief White House correspondent for CNN from 2011 to 2013. And she interviewed Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama, everyone buzzy. Prior to becoming the chief White House correspondent, she was the national political correspondent for CNN, covering the 2008 and 2012 America Votes election coverage. So she's covered those many elections, but those two in particular, sort of volatile elections in our country. So at Generator, she is one of our primary sources for all news COVID related, and frankly, all news, period. Jessica, like a lot of her audience is working women. I feel like she's talking straight to me. She has this inviting vibe where there's something human about it, where it's not, she's not just giving it to you and she doesn't care. She cares, and it's like empathetic. She's kind of like, sorry, gotta tell you this, but the information is clear, direct, and digestible. I do not feel stupid. I do not feel like talked down to. I feel informed and included by Jessica's reporting. We are so excited to have the opportunity to speak with her. And I'm so glad I could write her name backwards. And now I'm going to add backwards/forwards. And now I'm going to add Jessica. Jessica, okay, cool. LOL, that backwards. So silly. Jessica, hi. Dude, did you see this stupid thing?
That was amazing. I'm impressed that you wrote it backwards, forwards. I don't know.
I'm really like your name was the important one to get on there, because you've been, thank you so much, Jessica, for giving me and others the news that we need to know, and just for being a brilliant, strong, brave woman.
That is the nicest introduction. Thank you so much. And thank you for what you're doing. We spoke before you were going to go on your tour, before all this exploded. It was crazy.
I know. And we were talking about like, how can we collaborate? How can we help each other, whatever. And it's like, it's just the whole reality. And Corona was happening at that time, but it wasn't, we had no idea. And us stupid Americans thinking like, as much as I disagree with like the certain attitudes, traditional attitudes, I'm the same way. I'm like, not here. And then it's like, you know what, asshole? Yeah, here. Yes, New York, particularly. Like, no, this is not something that other people deal with. This is us. This is all of us.
It's been interesting to see how many people who are super engaged in the news, even in my world, are saying, but do you really think it's going to be a disaster here? Is it going to be bad here? Still, you're like, we have the same immune system as people in Italy and Spain. Like, yes, it's us.
And the reason I'm like, you know, like, at that right now is just because I'm in New York and I'm like, ooh, it's a disaster. Like, it's a disaster already. Are you in DC? You're based in DC?
I lived in DC for many, many years, but I moved home to Los Angeles. So I'm in LA, which is where I'm from. It's not a bad place to have to stay home compared to DC.
I know, dude. I've been like New York forever, and now I'm like, maybe LA is the next one. It's just everybody I'm like FaceTiming with for like work and stuff. It's just like the sun's beaming, and normally I find the sunlight a little oppressive there, and I'm like, no, it's buttermilk sunlight just streaming into the windows.
The difference is people are like crowding the farmers market here still.
They are.
Yeah, it's bad situation.
I'm in Brooklyn, and so Manhattan's kind of a ghost town, but I think people are coming out because the thing is like there's no New York. You live on the street, like socioeconomic people. You know what I mean? Whatever. No matter where you fall, most people are living outdoors, outside for 12 hours a day. So I don't blame people, but like people are like, I just hear that people are gathering at Prospect Park, and it sucks. I'm like,
really?
Yes, and you know, I know they're young, and I know they don't make like, I'm sure they're younger and don't make as much money. They have a shitty apartments, whatever. I'm like, but it sucks. It sucks. It's scary and feels filthy.
I know. I mean, this is a lot of what happened in Italy, and you know, people were still socializing because it hadn't hit them, and then you feel the consequences of it, you know, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later. So
and like they're so social Italians, right? So it's like to tell New Yorkers, but it's like it's science and it's reality.
It is science. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so just like some human stuff real quick. Even though we did a little of that too. So what are you binge watching right now?
So I'm strange. I live in LA where all people do is talk about what are your shows. And my show is COVID. Like, it's all I can take. I watch every news.
Dark.
I really go deep and dark. Although I hear Love is Blind is the thing. So when I can slow down, I think I'll try that. I don't know.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
I do that. COVID's my show. Hilarious.
It's kind of...
So how is your health, just as a human being, soul aligned with a body? How's your health?
My health is good. Like everybody, anytime I have a tickle, I'm like, oh my God, is that you, COVID? I did, you know, I interview people all day long, all the time. And some scientists have told me it's worth it to do everything you can to boost your immunity and really be in optimal health. So more than before, I love tortilla chips. I'm not eating tortilla chips, you know, like that. So
Why? Why?
Because it's better for you to eat vegetables and protein and or whatever your version of protein is, and keep optimally healthy because you want your immune system in a condition to fight if it needs to. I take extra vitamin D. Like, why not? Can't hurt.
Okay, just a pitch. Have you been like mincing and swallowing garlic by chance?
First of all, I cannot cook. So I've been learning to cook, and mincing garlic is, I use the wellness shots. You know, like, I'm into like the ginger turmeric version of that.
I've been doing like garlic, mincing it and swallowing it, and then also doing a garlic steam. I heard it's really good for lung health, just to let you know. Big old pot of water, you mince garlic, you put it at the bottom of a bowl, you put the steaming water over it, dish towel over your head, and let the water steam.
My Jewish mother used to tell me to do that to clear my passages without the garlic.
And now I'm like, dish towel over my head. But yeah, that's apparently really good. My husband has asthma, so I've been like very nervous about how to improve his lung health, and I've been doing it too.
And you mince the garlic? Is that a different?
Yeah, you mince it, so you like open it up, and then when the water pours in, it's like tea. It's like tea, and garlic works too. But to like have that steam coat your lungs deeper is a
plus to live alone if you're doing that.
Yeah, yeah. So here in New York, I now know more than 10 people who have gotten it. Do you know people that you know, or your family? How's your family? Do you know friends who've gotten it?
I do have friends who've gotten it. Fortunately, everyone I know who's gotten it that I know well is able to manage it at home, although some of them are not in a great place. I do know of people who are on ventilators, and I have friends who have family members who have died. And, you know, I also, one of the reasons that I started reporting on this story with such seriousness a month ago is because a woman in Italy reached out to me and started talking to me and saying, you guys in America need to take this more seriously. So I talk to her every night, and I do hear from her a lot of what they're saying.
So, okay, let me ask you, is she an American expat?
Yeah.
Wow. And she watched you normally on Instagram and then DM'd you.
She DM'd me one day and she said, I have to say, I really respect and like your work, but I'm a little disappointed in you right now. This was late February. And I was like, okay, you know, you can't, okay, why? And she's like, I was already saying COVID is serious. It was late February. No, and I was like, you got to take this seriously. She's like, you don't understand. We don't have, I mean, I don't know how dark you want me to get, but she's like, this is very serious.
I think we're going to have enough levity just as whatever coffee clutch that it's like, give it, you know, like I want to hear it because it's actually best to hear it from you, for me, and that's what I'm lending to others. Were you like, let me just like ask a personal thing. Were you like, oh, I don't want to be overreactive, like an overreactive woman? Like, were you just not thinking? Did it just not feel as serious?
I didn't understand what this is. Like, I thought there was this bad bug moving across China. They were cracking down on it. Obviously, it's going to come to here because we're all human and we're global. But I just thought it was a bad flu. Everybody says it's just a bad flu at first, right? And they said 80% of the cases are mild. And mild to me meant flu. And just, you know, trigger warning, this is dark. But what she said to me is, this is a disease you die of, I can't breathe. So that people's loved ones are going to the hospital and they are gasping for breath. And they're making decisions about who can live and die. And the cutoff when she contacted me was 60. If you're 60 or older, you don't get a ventilator, was the decision they were making. And it's, you know, nurses now they're saying are committing suicide there because they can't stand what they're seeing. Morgues are over capacity. I mean, it's a war. It's a war.
Yeah, you know, I've been thinking about, and as we've been starting programming up for Generator Live, the mental health and suicide impact is just something that's been on my mind, but particularly the nurses, that's wild. And I get it. That's really, that's a dystopia. Wow.
What?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to somebody who's helping with emergency intervention in New York, and she said, you know, we're talking about PPE and we're talking about ventilators. We also need mental health support surging to our frontline people. And I think that's going to be an increasing ask in New York, especially.
Yeah. Wow. So, LOL.
Right.
How is your mental health? Well, that's my next question. How's your mental health reporting on this? You know, you're a reporter. I can imagine you. I can like see you sort of just like, oh my God, like, so, you know, your creativity is news, but this is insane. How is your mental health, and what are your coping mechanisms right now?
So intuitive. So because I've been in the news business for so long, which I have been for a long time, I have a really good ability to dissociate from the material, healthy or not. And it's one of the things that lets you cover really dark stories. And for me, I live alone. And I think it would be really hard to just be alone right now in my space. And LA is a very isolated place. It's not New York where you feel people on you. So for me, this story is just riveting. Like, I'm interviewing scientists who are telling me I've never known so little about something, and they're explaining ideas. And it's public health, and it's government and politics and the people. And one of the most exciting things about this is the people can make a difference. It's about what we do. So for me, I find that energizing to just dig into the material.
Speak more to that, because what I want to talk to you about is what government and politics looks like now, what you as an expert see it as in the next 6 months. I know it's so insane and we don't have a precedent for this, but you know, I'm going to get to this, but it's like, I'm pissed that it's up to the people. I'm angry. why is this up to the people? Why is the government not, why does it not take care of us? You know, and I'm like, okay, wring us dry most of the time. But during a pandemic, like, come on. And maybe you mean a lighter version of this, and we'll get angry in a second, but what do you mean by it? Yeah, what do you mean by that?
You're not wrong. I mean, what you need in this case is a coordinated federal response. You need leadership from Washington that's like, I don't care about politics. I don't care about partisanship. We are Americans now. We are humans first. Let's go. And you just marshal the greatest minds and most capable people to act. And what we've seen in the past is I want to reassure you about this. There are amazing people inside dealing. Like, there are good people making a difference. It's just, you know, like, remember when Katrina hit and for like a week, the White House didn't do anything. And then it clicked that this is, you need to get rid of. The people who stepped in to fix Katrina are just now starting to be in charge. So hopefully.
And what is that lag? You know, it was Bush then, it's Trump now. Is it ego and patriarchal currency? Like, what's the lag? I honestly, you know, as a female leader, I believe in the power of female leadership. And I'm like, unfortunately, women are all too ready to be like, oh, you know, sometimes like, oh, I don't know. But then other times it's like, let's gather the best people. Like, is that the lag? Is it ego? What is that lag?
I'm obsessed with this question too. And like, you can work it out with me. One part of it is hostility to science. You know, the experts don't know what they're talking about. They build these models. What do they know? That's one piece of it. Another piece is that government was gutted at the beginning of this administration. So some people who are just the smartest minds in government were like, I'm out. Like, I'm not doing this. And so you literally didn't have, I think you didn't have the same,
they weren't even there.
That's what because for example, one of the big screw ups, and we'll look back on this, is that the CDC fucked up the test, right? And that could have been game change. Like, we got our first case the same day South Korea did. They rolled out these tests, and they're not nationally social distancing. They don't have to do what we did. They just don't, because they can isolate. Here's a case. We're going to surround them, find out who they talk to, isolate them, not the whole country. I mean, the cascade of problems from that one thing. So why, like, somebody described that test to me as 1980s technology and that it's astounding they screwed it up. Why did that happen? And that's just one example. So I do think it's super, you know, it's frustrating and disempowering to think about this. The thing that we all can do is like step in where they're fucking up. I can say it here. And know that a lot of states are making a difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the state legislation has been, you know, a generator. It's like, we're real human level. We're real, like, average intelligence level. I'm good at comedy. I can't finish an article. You know what I mean? So it's like, we make it like real digestible. And the thing about, you know, South Korea, like, that's the thing. I know we got it on the same day as South Korea, and they're doing so much better. Why? And also the state legislature has been, that's been really inspiring in an American, like, that's made me feel patriotic, where, you know, checks and balances were set up initially, and we say they were all slave owners, and they, you know, and there were flaws with these individuals and with the system created, but I'm so grateful for the state government. You know, I'm in New York, and I'm like, Cuomo is like my dude right now.
I know, he's been amazing. His polling numbers are up 27% too as a result. Which is a whole other thing. One thing I can tell you, one way we, like you and me and everyone paying attention, can make a difference is what states don't have the power to print their own money. When the federal government says we're in a crisis, we're just going to spend whatever we need to spend to get it done, the federal government can do that. Washington, states cannot do that. So when the states say we need ventilators, they have to spend the amount of money they already have. The only way they get more is if the federal government sends it to them. So what?
Wait, you're talking, Mrs. I'm such an idiot. Literally printing money?
Or, well, it's more complicated than how the money, like, you issue bonds and other countries invest, and then you have this new source.
But you're saying, like, create
new money. Create money that wasn't there before to spend on the stuff.
Create new money.
The federal government can, I know.
It's a fucking construct. It's all fucking fake. I'm like, print money, print ventilators, make masks.
Right.
What? But it all has to be sorry, low power mode.
This is how it works. So,
yeah.
Am I back? Okay. So
you are. There's a little lag for me, but I think it'll be okay. Keep going.
The one thing we can do, or one is call the White House, call Congress, and say, get the states the money. Like, don't be slow. Get this money out. Support, and you can just say support the states. Get critical equipment to the states now. That comes from Washington.
Gotcha. So, okay. So to our like programming.
Okay.
What's going on with the elections? What is going on? Trump is polling well. What does that mean, Jessica Yellin?
Okay. Let me put this in context. Trump's poll numbers are up, like, depending what you look at, 3 to 4%, right?
LOL. Okay.
I mean, maybe 5, but on average, 3 to 4%. In other countries, so there's always a surge in support for a wartime leader. If you think of this as nations in crisis, they want to support our leadership. So let's say on the outside positive, he's up 5 or 7 points. Let's even give him that. In Germany, the leader in Germany is up double digit. In New York, Cuomo is up 27 points. Compare that to 3 to 4.
Right.
So actually, he is not doing that well given his leadership position right now.
Gotcha. Okay. Where's Biden?
In his basement? Have you seen those videos?
No.
Oh.
I'm telling you, I'm not watching the news. I'm watching your videos. Literally. What you see is what you get. I'm watching your videos. He's in his basement.
He's in his basement talking to, like, he's doing a little bit what we're doing, but in the way, he would. Also, there's a podcast. Yeah. His first podcast was with this amazing man named Ron Klain, who is one of these, like, superhero helper, get things done people.
Ron
Klain, Klain. He was Obama's Ebola czar. He's like one of he'll be chief of staff probably in a Biden White House if that happens. But so that's whatever he has to say is interesting. It's like, it's an unfortunate situation because he has to stay home and he can't be out on the front lines, handing out masks and making.
100%. Don't even want him to, don't want him to be doing the publicity. Literally want to make sure he's healthy.
Right.
And, I got to tell you, like, I'm again with Generator investigating the system at a Homer Simpson level. Like, I don't know shit. I'm learning in real time, whatever. I felt when Super Tuesday happened, I was like, I see how this is. I was supporting Bernie. I am supporting Bernie. I'm voting for Bernie in the primaries, but I felt like the level of, and listen, I want unity. I'm going to vote for whoever the fuck is on the Democrat ballot. I am going to vote. I'm going to, do like text bank canvassing. I'm going to do Generator for it. But does Bernie have a chance? What's happening? Does Bernie have no chance? What's up?
I mean, I think we live in a crazy world where these days anything's possible. So I'm not going to say no, right? Like, who the fuck knows these days? It's extraordinarily unlikely, like both mathematically and politically.
Okay.
Biden is so much closer in terms of the delegates. The states that remain are looking so much more Biden leaning.
Okay.
And everyone's so intensely distracted by COVID. There's no energy going into the primaries anymore. It's hard to see it shift tracks. But again, who knows?
And women, female leaders, I'm just like, tell me what I have to do. I'm not, I want it to be Bernie. I think that Bernie would actually make the world a better place, but I think Biden would make it much better than it would be without Trump. And so we were doing, for Generator, our Horny for the Polls tour, we were doing stand-up and then Jenny Socials, as we spoke about. And it was funny, these like sort of Gen Zers, I was like, listen guys, I'm voting for Bernie. And they're like, yeah, Bernie! And then I'm like, but, and they're like, I'm like, I'm going to be voting for whoever is on the ticket. And you gotta, because you gotta do the right thing. Do you have any sense of, that? The resistance, the Bernie resistance? I remember hearing like Bernie's voter, like Bernie bros would rather vote for Trump. Is this bringing sense to any people?
I think there's some of that. I think there's always going to be, it's going to be hard for a certain portion of the electorate to move because they're so committed to Bernie and his vision is, you know, that there's a category of person who sees Biden as too centrist. But I honestly think that there is enough out there of the other vote for Biden to really, you know, give Trump a run for his money. The truth is, though, I, at this stage, think the election will be decided by Trump's own actions and the Democrats' ability to prosecute the case that he was slow, that people died because of that lag, and that his decisions put America in a terrible position.
In a really, dangerous place.
And the question is, can Democrats persuasively make that case? There's the evidence, but, you know, they have to message. And right now, campaigns they're waged on Facebook. They're waged here, you know? So it's going on. In a way, like what Biden's doing in his basement is one piece of it, but what are the Democrats doing on social to get the message out is another.
Right. So you said primaries are on hold. The DNC, what's going on? Is the DNC going to be online? I mean, it's like they're saying that they're still going to hold their convention it's July, second week of July in Wisconsin. I mean, why say that? Whatever. I don't see how that happens. Like, why would they do that? They're also saying that there's this weird rule that says if any primaries push past June 9th, the delegates don't count as much and you can't get, and already some states have pushed it past June 9th because of COVID. I think it's June 23rd in New York.
Yeah, you guys in New York set it for after June 9th, even though the DNC says it won't count as much. And Cuomo's like, I don't care. We're like fighting a war here.
Ew.
So there's just like a little, again, slowness to accept what's going on.
Right. Which, okay, fine. But also I feel like with Americans, and I don't know, I haven't traveled the world so much, but I feel like we can't believe we live in reality and not American television reality.
Is that, I wonder what it is, or we think we're different or we're special or protected and it won't happen here.
We're like the dreamer. We're all Jiminy Cricket. We're all like mystical. You know what I mean? Like, we're all Kevin Arnold from Wonder Years. Like, we're all, you know what I mean? We're all the nerdy boys who want to get to be got the hot girl. It's like, it's just this narrative that's gone on and on and on that it's like, we're not. It was like some like post World War II something. You know what I mean? Like, I just, my friend was just got back from New Zealand. They were they were on their honeymoon. Then COVID happened. They like put their time and they were like, what are we going to do? And they just got back. And the way New Zealand responded was, you know, so different. And same with COVID. Like, I think America just has such a high output of fiction that it's hard for us to define our reality.
That's interesting. Honestly, I know this sounds cold, but there's a selfishness to it too. Like, I'm doing what I want to do, and people aren't accepting that you might be an asymptomatic carrier, and you are giving it. You go out, you're giving it to a 10-year-old who goes home to his grandma, and like you could infect an entire family, and people just can't process that. In New Zealand, when it happened, they acted so quickly. And I mean, just like with guns, though, they had a mass shooting, they banned guns. I mean, it's like, there's something so sick here. It's so sick. I just have to check my battery to make sure I don't have to plug it. Sorry. Okay. Oh my God, I do this.
Okay, so I think we'll go back to that meta shit in a second because it's actually quite useful. I think to be outside of it and like openly talking about that narrative. I think it's that toxic masculinity. I have a hunch, so maybe we'll go back to it. But just a couple things that are like more administrative. The Senate adjourned until April 20th, LOL 420, with no plans for remote work or emergency return to Washington, D.C. How is that even possible? Are baby boomers not, are they no Zoom? Not, is this a no Zoom Senate? Is that, what is going on? Are they non-essential?
Can you do something with that? That would be really good.
I'm losing my mind. And maybe we'll do I'm like, get on Zoom, figure it out. Why is it up to Governor Cuomo? Why is it up to state representatives who don't actually have the money? What is that?
So here's the thing. First of all, the median age in the Senate is 62. 75% of them are they are, COVID at risk.
Sure.
Right. So
we're all quarantined, but we're all Zooming.
Right.
You and me right now are figuring it out.
So I think, first of all, they have not set rules that allow you to vote remotely. That could be done, but there's all sorts of reasons we might not want that done. Like, there is something to, you have to be there to vote that shapes the institution of it. I don't know. They could create emergency rules that will allow different policies. The other thing you need to know is, let's say the House passes a new stimulus and says we need to rush, because I think what's going to happen is, as we stay indoors longer, you're going to have to rush funding to regular people. Like, people are going to need support for food and rent. And as much as they want to resist that, it looks like universal basic income or whatever, it's going to have to happen, is my guess. Let's say the House can pass that. The Senate can come back for a day and vote and leave. So they can suspend their recess and come back. So the fact that they're at home doesn't mean they're not going to do anything.
But it's just like they're technically not working. Is that correct?
Maybe they're, I don't know. I think they're dealing with their states.
I'm also like, I'd love for them to Instagram live vote, right? Because so much, like, okay, they may not be ashamed in front of each other to vote against their own people, but I'm like, I'd like to see them vote on Zoom, a Zoom we can all watch. Howard Stern, they did a Zoom. I'm just like, my concern about like online voting is the government hacking it because of Facebook and Russians hacking and the elections, whatever, or I don't even know how to politically correctly say it, but it's like, I'm just like, how can they be paused right now? They are essential workers.
I mean, I don't know that they would do more good than harm, to be honest. Like, I don't know what they'd be doing right now. What they need to do, what they can do is pass stimulus support measures. Like, they need to be on the phone with the White House, pressing the White House to streamline this process so that, the needed gear goes to the states in urgent need first, and that there's a priority system set up and that things are coordinated.
So we could be calling our senators and saying, press the White House.
Yeah.
In addition to calling the White House.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the election still happening?
I mean, it's so hard to fathom a world in which we push the election. That is what we're...
Cool. It's hard for you to picture that, you're saying.
Yeah. I do think that... I think there's going to be a massive push for mail-in ballots, and that everybody should work on getting their mail-in ballot today so that you don't have any concerns, so you are voting and your vote will be counted. But one of the tricky things is that the COVID projections are that, infection will drop dramatically in August and September and October, and then spike again at the end of October and to November when we vote. So it's possible people will feel better and then feel panicked about voting when the day comes. That's why it's important to make sure you have your mail-in ballot now in case you don't go out then.
Okay.
That is something we can all do, and make sure 5 of your friends do it and 5 of their friends, and make that viral.
Gotcha. Okay. Got it. What is going on with supplies getting to some states and not others? What's happening there?
I mean, this is really upsetting. Like, one of the things that I grew up with a dad who instilled this value of American government in me. Like, his whole thing was the idea of America, this beautiful notion. And one of the most beautiful things about America is that we have very little history of corruption in government or political favoritism. And historically, right now things feel
relatively, I guess,
compared to other countries. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you can say like there's corporate corruption and all that, but in terms of like one person in office self-enriching themselves at everyone else's expense is more rare here than elsewhere. Right now, and that in crisis, we rise above partnership to serve. Right now, some weird things are happening. Like, Florida is not the most in need state, but it's getting everything it needs. States that need things like New York and Michigan are not getting everything they need. And that has coincided with the president criticizing some of their leaders because he thinks they're not being nice to him. Now, is this really political? I actually think it's partially chaos, disorganization, incompetence. You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily willful targeting of political enemies. It might just be they don't have their act together.
Because it feels like he's like trying to impress his crush Putin, right? Like it really feels like he's like, see, I can do. Oh, sorry, somebody called me. But I'm back. But and that scares me because I'm like, really, Mar-a-Lago's in Florida, they don't need it, but they're getting it. And Cuomo's masculinity intimidates you. So you're really, because like I'm going to the grocery store and I'm like, these people are going to need this. So you don't actually think that's it. It just is a little bit like his acting lends itself to that narrative, but isn't necessarily really.
Maybe. Because here's the thing. If you're being very strategic and punishing your enemies, he would surge support to Michigan because Michigan is a key swing state. In order for him to win the White House, he needs Michigan to vote for him. There is no way Michigan voters are going to be psyched to support somebody who denied them essential critical equipment at a vital moment and then know people who are dying from it.
And is he denying them?
It's not denying. It's just that the government is saying we need this.
They're just weak. They're weak and they're incapable. They're just incapacitated and not prepared.
I think it might be that they're incapacitated.
Yeah.
And disorganized. And whoever has the best relationship with the person on the phone gets the thing. By randomness of relationships and happenstance. Sometimes in government, it's not a big conspiracy. It's more chaos, disorganization. Is that really loud? Should I close my door?
It's okay. It's somewhat like it's
LA.
Yeah. What's going by?
You know, it's a leaf blower. I don't know why they're leaf blowing.
You mean it's a leaf blower right now? So you've been organizing, just a few more questions. You've been organizing to gather PPE supplies. Fashion designer Christian Siriano is manufacturing masks. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Like, or we've kind of covered it, but I just want to highlight it. Thank you for your work. I wish it didn't fall on you. You're already like diving into COVID journalism, because we did like cover why, and that it really is due to incapacity and it's due to leadership weakness. Thank you for amplifying those messages.
Thank you. I mean, this is a little bit like the testing because we didn't accept that it was going to hit hard. They didn't gear up. They didn't have a national stockpile that was sufficient with the masks, with all the protective gear that the nurses and doctors and frontline workers need. And then that was also complicated by the fact that the CDC said, this is a wrinkle, but the CDC told Americans not to buy masks because there was such a short supply and they wanted to get to the frontline workers. And now it turns out that actually wearing masks helps reduce spread. And so they're going to come out with guidance saying, wait, maybe you guys, it's just like, how is this happening?
Incapacitated, just weak leadership.
The one thing that's positive is we're seeing so many people be helpers.
I mean, the best. You know, like this comedian, Matt Rogers, he's from Long Island, I'm from Long Island, and we were talking about the toxic masculinity out there. But you know what he said about Long Island, which I feel is true about America? We have big hearts.
Yeah.
We have all this hope, and it's sometimes pathetic because we're not taken care of by our government. So it's like, what are you hopeful for? But that's the thing about like the movies and the TV we put out and the stories we tell ourselves. We have a lot of hope, and it's like, it is beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see.
And all the hospitalists and medical workers who were out of the field and going back to volunteer, knowing what's at stake for them. I mean, all these people who are working on the front lines, and it's beautiful. That part's amazing.
It is. Yeah, and thank you so much for your work. You're awesome.
Oh my God, thank you. I adore you. I'm so
This is
excited.
so much fun. This is so, I'm loving it. Okay, just a couple more things. You know, at Generator, we're going to be figuring out, as we always do in real time, how to be minimally civically engaged. What can we do from home to monitor the elections and keep up to date on what's going on? I really suggest people follow you, anybody watching this, and tell your friends, follow Jessica Yellin. We're big fans and collaborators with Vote Save America. Anybody you want to shout out, good resources to keep up to date on and voting?
I follow Know Your Vote. They do really good stuff. They're new and smallish, but what they do is they quickly post when primaries have moved and dates and what you need to know. I like to follow I Am a Voter because what they have is also like texting people to get them engaged. I mean, for political coverage, there's different stuff I follow. I can tell you what I do for that. The one thing I would say right now, if you want to be minimally civically engaged, the most important thing you can do right now is fill out your census form today.
Yes.
It's due tomorrow. Do you, like, you know what this, like, we all know the census measures how many of us are there and decides how much your state can get in funding. So we were talking about how the states need this money from the federal government to surge medical supplies. If you are undercounted, they get less money. There are less supplies. So you need to be counted. And so it takes 10 minutes to fill out that form.
So we're talking to Ari Berman tomorrow. You know Ari?
I don't.
Oh, you don't? Oh, you would
Did
love
I?
him. He's a voter suppression expert and journalist, and he works a lot with Eric Holder, who we're also friends with here at Generator.
Awesome.
I'm talking to Eric, I think like next week or so on Instagram Live. But I didn't realize it was due April 1st. It's due.
It's due. So you've got it. That's your job tonight, your homework tonight, whatever you want to call it. Your civic participation is dig through your mail, find that thing, fill it out, stick it in the mailbox.
I have it. Me and my partner, we're going to do it tonight. Okay. God damn.
I know.
So the census, Know Your Vote, I Am a Voter, and Jessica Yellin.
And you.
And Generator, Ilana, and Vote Save. And I'll post this. I'm just saying to everybody, I'm going to post this, keep this on for 24 hours. And Jessica, I'm going to keep this. So I'll send you the link. I'll save the video and upload it to Dropbox because there's a lot of good stuff going on.
Amazing. I'll repost.
Okay.
Thanks for the work you do. You're amazing.
Oh, love you, Jessica. You're
Love you too.
amazing. Thank you. You're amazing. And stay healthy, sleep a lot, drink a lot of water, and I'll talk to you really soon.
You too. Okay, good.
Bye, everybody. Be well.